Hey everyone, Piano Man Chuck here, and I have with me today the Nord Stage 3. Now this video is going to apply to not only the Stage 3, but all of the Stage series, all of its predecessors, the Nord Stage 2EX, the Nord Stage 2, and so on and so forth, as well as the Nord Piano 3 and 2, and so on and so forth, and some other products. So basically what you see here, even though some people describe it as looking like the cockpit of an airplane, it's really not that bad. Everything is a knob or a button. These are all knobs and buttons with the exception of the pitch stick and the morph wheel over here. So let's go over how to operate these knobs and buttons. Now this is a little bit different than all the rest of the keyboards that you might be used to. Korg, Roland, Kawai, Casio, Kurzweil, and a bunch of other stuff. They basically are operated by menus. They're menu driven. This one, very minimal menus at all. The reason this is the ideal stage piano is whatever you need to do, whatever you need to adjust, you just grab a knob or a button and you make the adjustments. Everything is a dedicated knob or button, although we'll see in a minute that that can be changed too. But basically, there's no fiddling with menus. Now, Korg Kronos, absolutely powerful workstation, but it's a workstation. Yes, you can use it on the stage, but as far as being a stage piano, if you want to make some adjustments, you have to go through menus or spend some time programming things so that controls and knobs can be used instead of going through buttons. This doesn't have that. So anyway, let's get started. We'll start out with the fact that this has three different instrument sections: organ, piano, and synthesizer. And you can tell all three of these sections apart because each one of these has this silver horizontal hockey stick kind of shape here for the organ section, a real short one for the piano section, and a longer one for the synthesizer section. Now, I'm kind of surprised going on the forums and hearing people ask, how do you layer things? It is so easy. So let's go over how we do things like that. These three hockey stick things that designate organ, piano, and synth section, what each one of them has in common is a knob up here and a button below it. Knob, button, knob, button. Right now I have this on. This is the piano section. If I were to turn this switch off, I have nothing on because I have none of these three sections on. So if I turn it back on, the knob above that is the relative volume of the piano. And you can see where the volume is with this red LED display here. Now, you want to layer organs with the piano? Real simple. Turn on the organ section. That's all there is to it. The knob above that is the relative volume of the organ. You want to layer synthesizer on top of that too? Just turn the synth section on, which has its own OLED LED. Now we have all three layered: organ, piano, and synth, and these knobs above, turning those things on, those are used to control the individual volume of those layers. So let's turn everything off except for the piano. All right, the button that turns these different sections on and off also can be used when you have splits so that you can determine what part of the keyboard that this particular instrument is going to be appearing on. So if you look over here where it says keyboard zone, all four green LEDs are lit, meaning it's across the entire keyboard. Now, when you come to buttons, you can press it, which turns it on or off. Okay, and when you go to the split section like this, then you can double press, and you can see that the keyboard is going to be to the lower section of a split, or double press again to the upper section of a split, or all across. And that's when we're using splits. Now, if I hold split down, I get a different menu altogether. The problem is I have to keep holding it. Then I can do low, mid, high, split position, for low, mid, high. Okay. So basically, the buttons you can either press, double press, or hold. Now, all of these buttons have something written on top of that. On top of each button is the function that they do. So when you press that button, you are getting that particular function. So in other words, like over here, over on the reverb section, for the on or off, if I press it, the reverb is on. If I press it again, the reverb is off, and so on and so forth. Above that are the different types of reverbs. So each time I press it, I get a different type of reverb. Right now I'm set for Hall 1. Okay, and then over here, the knob above that adjusts the reverb amount. I like it right about 2.6 or so. All right, now on some of the buttons, in fact on a lot of the buttons, you'll see something written below the button. So the way you get to those is you'll hold down the shift key to get to whatever's written on the bottom of the button. You hold down the shift key and you press the button, and whatever's written below the button is what you get. So, for example, on the piano select over here, you see that I can choose from grand and upright and electric and so on and so forth. I get all these different choices here. Okay, but there's something listed below that knob as well. So if I hold the shift key down and I press list, or I turn list, then I get a list of everything in the grand piano section over here. Okay, and if I let go of shift, then I can change my section over here. I'm in the electrics now. Now I see all of the different electric pianos and so on and so forth. So this is really cool. And basically, this is how you operate a Nord piano. Instead of going through menus, you've got knobs and buttons, and that's it. So what's written on the top of the button is what you get when you press it. What's written on the bottom of the button is what you get when you hold down the shift key and press that button. And what you get on some of the buttons, you double click. And on others, you hold. So basically, basic operations, button, what's on top. Shift, what's on bottom of the button. These three different sections designated by the hockey stick shaped silver area. Basically, on, off, and what part of the keyboard for a split, and individual volume of each. Now, with the piano, and I turn on the synth, synth sounds too loud. Let's lower that a bit. Maybe still a little bit too loud. Let's layer that by lowering it a little bit. That sounds better. Overall instrument volume is with the master level right here. Also, if you look at these different level controls at the hockey stick portion over here, you'll notice that instead of a standard knob, which you go all the way to the left and then you stop, and you go all the way to the right and then it stops. You can't turn it anymore. This one's different because wherever it's at, it's showing you where it's at with this red LED, so that when you go to a different kind of piano or a different kind of instrument altogether, you'll notice you go from one instrument to another, how the different levels are set. It shows you with an LED. So when you're with something like most Kurzweils, Korgs, or Rolands, or Kawais that have that physical thing, when you switch to another instrument, well, you're going to have to turn that knob all the way to the left and then adjust it to where you want. Well, you don't have to do that here because it's automatically adjusted to where it should be, and it shows you where that is with the red LED on that knob control. So basically, there's a whole lot more to this, but this is a very basic intro into how you use the knobs and buttons on a Nord. And it's really not as bad as you think. Once you get the hang of it, it's a lot easier than going through menus, and definitely a lot faster. Hope this has helped you out. Piano Man Chuck, peace out. Thanks for watching.